Alright, 4 bandits jump out of the bushes and attack. Roll initiative. No! It was bandits last week. It was bandits the week before. It's always bandits. Random encounters and encounter roll tables are a staple in many TTRPGs. Often they can feel repetitive and boring, but they don't have to. Welcome to the table. I'm Kelly, and we're gonna make random encounters better. Regardless of whether you're running a pre-written campaign or a homebrew campaign, you can incorporate these ideas into your game. I found that there are 3 things that cause random encounters to feel tedious and boring. The first is that players have nothing to gain, except continuing on wherever they were heading in the first place. And that's because usually random encounters are just there to give stakes to travel and to make consequences for certain decisions. But that doesn't have to be the case. You can use your random encounters to tell players about the world and about events in the world that they might not be aware of. Whenever possible, always take the opportunity to give your players information through encounters rather than through exposition. It will make your players feel more invested in the encounters, and it will make each encounter feel unique. For example, if you have a random encounter where some bandits attack the party on the road, that's not very interesting, and your players have probably played this encounter before. But what if the bandits are dressed in tattered uniforms from a kingdom further up the road? The bandits look to be soldiers, but why are they robbing people on the highway? 2 of them have serious injuries and they look battle weary. Now your players have the opportunity to gain knowledge about their destination because of this random encounter. This doesn't just apply to encounters with humanoids either. You can do this with other monsters by having strange things in their nests or strange wounds. There are endless ways that you can use your encounters to give the players information. The key is, every time you make an encounter, ask yourself why the monsters or humanoids are doing what they're doing, and what can you tell the party through this encounter. The second thing that makes random encounters or roll table encounters feel boring is that they can drag on too long. These are meant to be quick little encounters that slowly chip away at your players' resources. They shouldn't be a 10-round fight to the death. You can solve this by having your monsters flee if the battle isn't going their way. This is very common advice, but it's worth repeating since it truly will make such an improvement in your encounters. I waited way too long to implement this in my game because I felt I was somehow cheating the players out of a full encounter, but that simply wasn't the case. These random encounters should really only last 2 or 3 rounds. Then when a PC lands a big blow on the monster, or if a couple of the monsters from a group die, have the rest of them flee. Not only will this make for quicker and more engaging combats, but it's also more realistic. No wild animal will fight to the death to try and kill its prey. If it realizes it's outmatched, then it will turn and flee. Same for the robbers on the street. They're after some quick coin, and if they realize they messed with the wrong people, then they're gonna run. One word of caution though. Be careful about how many fights in a row you have where the enemy flees. I found that my players quickly became overconfident in their abilities, and since every enemy was running away, they felt like they were invincible. Try to balance this by having some encounters where the monsters flee because of the players, and some where they flee because of external circumstances. If you're in a town or a city, you can have the town guard show up. If you're in the wilderness, then you can take a page from the Phantom Menace and have a bigger monster show up that's hunting the other monster. There's always a bigger fish. There are lots of external factors that can end a combat, so get creative. But the important thing is to not let your players get too full of themselves, otherwise they'll be waltzing right into your BBEG's lair, challenging them to a duel because the power has gone to their heads. The third thing that can make random encounters feel boring is that they could be incredibly repetitive. There's a good chance you're going to roll the same number a few times before you get through the whole table. Luckily, the solution to this is very easy. Random encounters don't actually have to be random. If you roll the dice and you get a repeat, or you get one that you don't think is interesting, just pick a different one. One thing that can really speed up random encounters is to use theater of the mind. You can check out this video here for some tips on how to run better theater of the mind encounters. I appreciate you.